is it helpful to connect with beauty in the early stages of your recovery? In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 reasons why connecting with beauty in the early stages of recovery is very beneficial. And to help us, I've created the acronym S.A.N.I.T.Y. S.A.N.I.T.Y. So in my last video, I invited you to connecting with beauty and to find 3 words that for you specifically connected with beauty. If you haven't done that video, there will be the link in the description box below, so please do watch that before you watch this one, because it will be very helpful for this one if you have those 3 words. But for those of you that did do it, I want you to remind yourself of your 3 words, and maybe just post them in the comments box below. It's really helpful actually to sort of build up a vocabulary of different types of emotions as you go through your recovery process. So if we share as a community, we're going to be helping and benefiting everybody. So let's do that. But we're going to break down now each letter and to find these 5 reasons for why connecting with beauty is really helpful to you. So I'm Karen Packwood, and this is the Spirit Spa Sanctuary. It's an online sanctuary that is dedicated to supporting you if you're in the early stages of recovering from your nervous breakdown, helping you to understand why the breakdown happened to you, and also to help you work out your next natural steps towards recovery. And you can see that I'm joining you at dawn this morning. The dawn is rising just above the hedge behind me, and I just thought this was such a beautiful spot to record for you this morning. So the letter S, soothing language. You've created these words, you've found these words that actually resonate with you in terms of your own beauty. But we all know that the language that we use, the thoughts that we have, really impact our mental state and our sense of well-being. So choosing our thoughts, choosing our language, choosing the kinds of words that we choose to focus on each and every day and bring into our recovery experience is incredibly important. So these 3 words that you've chosen can act like a mantra that you can say to yourself each morning, that you can write down each morning. Writing them down is a very powerful act of sort of bringing them into being. So by choosing these soothing language words, we're automatically transforming the brutalizing thoughts and feelings and language that we may be using about ourselves, or that we've experienced others using towards us. So it's kind of like a medicine, if you like, a language medicine for diminishing the power of the brutality that you may have experienced in terms of language. A stands for actions. Once we have these soothing words of beauty that we can actually use to help ourselves as we go forward, as we step into each day with maybe terror or overwhelm or anxiety, by breathing in these words, we're automatically creating soothing actions. We can, so for example, if your word is peaceful, you can think to yourself, well, how can I treat myself peacefully today? How can I act peacefully today? What can I do that is going to actually bring peace into my life today? And if you'll be very surprised how actually bringing these actions into place can really transform your day, particularly if you start off with the intention at the beginning of the day, like dawn, for example, or first thing when you wake up. How can you bring peace, for example, into your day today? What actions can you do? So N of sanity. So N is a really important one. It stands for nourishment. And, you know, this is the Spirit Spa Sanctuary. We're all about nourishing our spirits and souls so that we can really be kind to ourselves on this recovery journey. So what I want you to do is I really want you to think about these words as being a form of spiritual nourishment for yourself. How can you bring them into your life today in such a way that they really nourish you? And I really want you to be very clear that by doing this, what you're doing is you're really transforming deeply ingrained patterns of negative thinking. These are very tiny, simple steps, but they have a great power. So how can you nourish yourself by connecting with beauty and your soothing words, your soothing language and your soothing actions today, so that you really nourish yourself. I think it's really important to understand as well how powerful these words are when you're faced in your recovery process of things that do actually really trigger terror or overwhelm. Because then what you can do is, when you're in that state of terror and overwhelm, you can ask yourself, you can invite those words in. It's almost like a practice where you kind of use these words as weapons, as shields, as like swords to kind of fight away the emotions that feel overwhelming. So when you're actually in that state of overwhelm, for whatever emotion it might be in these early stages, you can consciously sort of bring yourself into a place where you take a deep breath and then actually kind of say, no, today I am going to stand in peace, I'm going to stand in calm, I'm going to stand in gentleness, I'm going to stand in kindness. These words are the words that are going to come in to help me breathe away the overwhelm, breathe away the terror, breathe away the anxiety, breathe away the fear that I will never feel well again. So these become real medicinal words that you can use as I don't want to use the word weapons because that sounds like a very brutal word, but protectors. Let's think about these as very protective words, and also words that can deflect difficult emotions, or at least help in that process. And you'll find that what happens is that over time, if you practice these things regularly, it almost becomes the norm. You actually find that you begin to, even if you don't wake up automatically feeling these positive beauty emotions and words, you'll find that you can start to sort of switch into them quite quickly, or they're part of your consciousness to say, oh yes, I'm feeling this really kind of difficult feeling at the moment, but so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spend a few minutes journaling on my beauty words, breathing in my beauty words, feeling my beauty words in my body, dressing my beauty words, creating my personal space that responds to my beauty words, treating others in relation to my beauty words as well, eating my food in relation to my beauty words. So you can really sort of bring it into your life as a daily practice. Which brings me to letter 4, I, and I stands for investment. By consciously connecting with these beauty words, you are positively investing in your recovery process. This is an absolutely affluent and abundant method for nourishing your soul, your spirit, your emotions, your mind, your heart, your body. This is a deep investment that is so easy to do. So really I encourage you to really think about, I'm really investing in myself with these emotions. This means that you're actually beginning to take very conscious control of your breakdown. Your breakdown isn't in control of you, you are in control of it. It helps you to connect in deeply with your desires and your passions, and so that any brutality or messages or beliefs that you've garnered from the past that don't serve your integrity, your true self, your authentic being, you can just diminish those by using the power of your beauty words. And these beauty words can really act as a very powerful navigational tool away from your breakdown. You can use them as like a barometer. So if something, an invitation comes up that doesn't feel in integrity with your recovery, you can actually come back to these beauty words. You can feel the beauty words in your body, you can hear them, and you can ask, is this action that I'm being invited to take part in, or I'm tempted to take part in, is this actually in integrity with my pathway out of this recovery? Is this in integrity with me bringing beauty into my life? Is this in integrity with treating myself with beauty? Is this in integrity with being a beautiful person in this world in a very empowering state of recovery? Which brings me to T, the next letter in S.A.N.I.T.Y, and you've already actually heard me use this, and this is T. T stands for tool of navigation. Use the beauty words, use beauty in general as a very powerful tool of navigating your way through your breakdown and past your breakdown. Remember that I have a very strong belief that your breakdown is here to help you. It's here to guide you. It's a pathway towards your authentic self at your highest level. So use your beauty words. Check in with them. Is this in integrity with my beauty today? Is this going to help me take myself on my next step towards recovery? If it isn't, don't do it if you don't have to. And if it is, step into it with pride and joy for knowing that you are now in control of your breakdown and it isn't in control of you. And that is one of the amazing gifts of connecting in with beauty. And actually, it's what your breakdown wants you to be doing. It wants you to be connecting in with these positive, loving, kind, nourishing emotions. I actually believe it's one of the reasons why a breakdown cracks us open and breaks us, because we've got so stuck on pathways that are negative for us, that our thoughts are too brutal towards ourselves, and by sort of cracking us open into this, into these very vulnerable and frightening places, we're bringing ourselves into a place of immense tenderness towards ourselves, towards life in general, and of course beauty can be found in tenderness. So once again, it's evidence to me of a breakdown really coming into our lives to bring us into a much kinder ways of existing with ourselves. And the last letter is Y. Y stands for you. And you are beautiful. You deserve beauty. You are allowed to live a beautiful life, regardless of what anybody else says or thinks, regardless of what gremlins inside you think, old patterns, old thoughts, old behaviors, whatever they think to the opposite of that. You are beautiful and you are allowed to live a beautiful life. Which brings us to today's meditation journaling activity. I'd like you to gather your journal, and I'd like you for the next few minutes with the guided meditation video that I've created for you, set in the most beautiful countryside on a very rainy day. We've had so much rain in England just recently. I didn't have any choice but to video in rain. But actually, what I decided to do was to actually use that as a really sort of a metaphor, if you like, because when we're in our breakdown, we can often feel like the pathway is muddy. It's it's miserable weather. We don't quite know. It just feels miserable, doesn't it? But actually, beauty can be found in that. And so actually what I did was I went into a very muddy forest, and I just found all the really beautiful things within the forest, even though it was rainy, muddy day. So yeah, I hope you really enjoyed the video. I loved creating it, and I really hope that you like it. But I want you to really use it as a way of meditating on why connecting in with beauty can be really helpful for you personally. And at the end, you'll see that I've written down some things in my journal for why it's really helpful for me, or it was really helpful for me when I was in the early stages of my recovery. So don't rush the meditation, take your time, enjoy it. There's so many ways that you can use the video. You can just use it and listen to just the audio and just relax to it. You can just watch the video and use that as a form of relaxation. Also, you can use it to accompany you as you actually really sit with this question: why does connecting with beauty help my journey? How can it lead to S.A.N.I.T.Y, sanity, soothing language, action, nourishment, investment, using it as a tool of navigation, bringing you to a place where you know, believe and trust that you are beautiful. let's just remind ourselves. S stands for soothing language. A stands for actions, beautiful actions in your day, every single life. N stands for nourishment, using beauty as a way of nourishing yourself and guiding your next steps towards recovery. I stands for investment, investing in yourself, knowing that by really connecting with beauty, you're giving yourself permission to love yourself at a very deep level. T stands for tool of navigation. Use beauty as a tool to determine whether the steps you are taking on your recovery journey are absolutely in integrity with your authentic self. Y stands for you. You are beautiful. You are allowed to live a beautiful life. You are allowed to let beauty hold your hand, guide you, caress you, support you, walk beside you, stand behind you with its hand at your back on every single step of your recovery journey. So I'm Karen Packwood. This is the Spirit Spa, an online sanctuary dedicated to supporting you if you're in the early stages of recovering from a nervous breakdown, helping you to understand why the breakdown happened to you and to work out your next steps towards rebuilding a nourishing life for yourself.